Hello everyone, Draco Magnius here once again for your lesson in Wizardry. In today's lesson, we will be covering our new spells we've obtained from Ding Dong Dell, info on the various shops in the world, and more information about the Northern Summerlands and Ding Dong Dell as a whole. We start, of course, with our very first spell that we obtained before we talked to King Tom, Spirit Medium. Communicate with the spirits of the departed. While there have been several notable cases of departed souls communicating with magically attuned men and women, most spirits lack the ability to talk to the living. With this spell, however, you can speak to any spirit you come across. Simply bear in mind that it is most assuredly not a spell to be used in mischief. The spirit world is full of evil sounds that will souls that will gleefully punish such wayward wizards. But now I will show you how to draw the symbol, as per usual. Alright, before we begin, I just wanted to show you all this new hoodie I'm wearing. You see, it has the nice sleeves. This is actually my magical wizarding hoodie. Because it's modern times and getting an old-timey robe is a bit expensive. This, however, wasn't as expensive. There will be a link in the description if you would like to buy yourself a magical hoodie. It comes with there are the one that's black on the outside with the red inner, but I got the pure red one because, well, personally I just like red. No other reason other than that. But now let's get started. Oh, actually, before I get started, I also want to mention there's like the zipper right here if you want to pull it up to not have your long sleeves. Because I mean, today that kind of gets difficult. By the way, this video was not sponsored by the people that sell this thing. I just thought it looked really cool, and you, my students, might also want one for your own. And this pin is not come with the hoodie. That's actually from my grandmother, who passed recently. But anyway, time to start drawing runes. Start from this area here. You make an upside down V, then you go over here, make a regular V, bring it up, and then bring it down. To try and, you know, make an M out of this for Spirit Medium. I went a little too high on that actually, but I'll show it one more time. Upside down V, regular V into a upside down V to make M. And now fast. And there we go! And now we move on to our very next spell. And next we have Spring Lock. Open doors and chests without a key. Spring Lock is a spell that forces open otherwise impregnable locks. Be sure to try it when you encounter a locked door or chest. Note, however, that this is not a spell that should be used for personal gain. If rumors are to be believed, terrible things are wont to happen to wizards whose greed leads them to spring locks that should not be sprung. But now let me show you how to use this spell. Just again, don't use it for your own personal gain. Barring, of course, treasure chests that are just out in the wild that aren't really anyone else's, so it's not really stealing from them. But yes, let's proceed. Right. Now we do Spring Lock, as I mentioned before. So, to start this one, we make an arc and go down, kind of like half of a keyhole. And then after doing that, we strike diagonally through that keyhole, to symbolize breaking the lock. So one more time. Make our lock, and then we strike through it. One more time. And now, rapidly. And there we have it. Now let's move on to the final spell we'll be going over before we move on to shops and other information. Alright, our next spell, and, well, I suppose our final spell for the day, is Rejuvenate. Turn back the clocks and return an object to its former glory. Withered trees and broken machines are no longer lost causes with this spell, which allows a wizard to return them to their original pristine state. When drawing the rune, be sure to focus on the condition to which you'd like to return the object, not on how far back in time you think you need to go. Which makes sense. You're trying to restore the object, not travel it back in time. But without further ado, let's get with the drawing of this rune. Alright, now let's get started on Rejuvenation. So we start near this lower level here, excuse me, and we make a backwards C. After we do that, we move a little down diagonally, and make a diagonal and down. I suppose technically one could liken this to half a clock, let's say. And the two hands that we draw are the hour and minute hand. So technically I suppose it's going to... yeah, 10:30. But let's do that one more time. Start at the bottom and make the C, backward C, then diagonal and strike down to 10:30. Half the clock and 10:30. Alright, and now fast. And we're good! Now we move on to our next section of the lesson, now that we have finished all of our magic spells for the day. Alright, the first store we're covering is Teaching for Aspiring Wizards number 4, Swift Solutions. Swift Solutions is a venerable establishment that provides employment for adventurers in the form of tasks. Some of these tasks are errands for people in need, and these often carry a reward. While there are tasks that can be undertaken anywhere in the world, Swift Solutions is the only place you can volunteer for bounty hunts. Be aware, however, that bounty hunts should not be attempted by those should only be attempted by those with great confidence in their ability on the field of battle. The large swallow above the door makes Swift Solutions readily recognizable presence in most towns, so be sure to drop in should you see one. Completing the tasks they offer is an excellent way of accelerating your development as a wizard. And another topic, related to the previous, is merit stamp cards. Regular patrons of Swift Solutions receive a special loyalty card known as a merit stamp card. Completing tasks yields more merit stamps, and filling the merit stamp cards earn merit badges, which furnish their owner with special abilities. The origin of these cards is shrouded in mystery, but one theory suggests they were invented by a king of a magical kingdom in an attempt to promote heroism and chivalry within his lands. There are even rumors that this king was a distant ancestor of the Taskmasters who run branches of Swift Solutions to this day. Interesting side note, but now we move on to a chapter that we have yet to touch in our lessons. So give me just a moment and I will see you in a little bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to Chapter 3, Equipment. While other men shew meekness, the wizard taketh arms, to strike at evil's weakness, and protect himself from harm. Now, what exactly is equipment? Equipping your familiars, the ingestion of equipment. Familiars do not use equipment in the way we humans do. They do not wield our weapons, wear our armor, or sport our jewelry. Instead, they swallow such items whole, absorbing their power and enhancing their own natural abilities. Ingesting a sword, for example, will improve a familiar's offensive capabilities, while ingesting a shield will boost their defense. Lest you wonder about familiars, enclose equipment in transparent bubbles prior to ingesting it, thereby keeping their innards safe, and the item clean and ready for retrieval at a moment's notice. Rest assured that familiars have no qualms about ingesting an item that has already been swallowed by another creature, unlike a human who would find that disgusting. Now, we go into the types and tastes. And just a little side note at the image here, I think it's a neat and adorable little picture they're showing of a mite eating a sword, as it were, as well as the color orbs used for various different items. But I digress. Types and tastes. Oops, little low. 3 types of equipment are used by familiars: weapons, armor, and accessories. Each equipment item is wrapped in a different colored bubble when swallowed. Weapons are enclosed in red bubbles, armor is enclosed in blue bubbles, and accessories are enclosed in green bubbles. I just noticed there's a typo there. In blue blubbles. Anyway, a familiar's tastes will dictate which equipment they use, and they will stubbornly refuse to swallow items that are not to their liking. There is no cause to worry, however, since familiars will only tolerate equipment with which they are comfortable. You may rest assured that anything they do ingest will have a positive effect of one sort or another on their abilities. Excuse me. I mean, unless you're giving them a weaker item, but why on earth would you do that? Now, I'm also going to show, like, a couple well, just the first page, really, to give you a good look at what it looks like in your Wizard's Companion, so you know what you're looking for if you're looking for a very specific item. On every page when we introduce a new weapon in the book, it has the introduction first. Swords and daggers. These basic weapons rely on sharp blades to slice through enemies' defenses, rather. And I suppose we'll start with the wooden sword, even though we've technically read its description in the shop. They have a picture of the weapon in particular, the description, and where you can find these things. Wooden sword, a simple wooden weapon, unlikely to sever an enemy's limbs, but delivers a decent bonk to the head. Actually, that's slightly different from the one in the shop. How interesting. Now, you can find these either in the Quartermaster Store in Ding Dong Dell, or there are some treasure chests throughout the world that have them. But now, if I am not mistaken, let me go back to my lesson, but yes, I will be back momentarily, as I need to switch to another page of importance in regards to equipment. And the next thing we will cover is the Quartermaster Store. Let's just zoom in to get a nice look here. There's the building, and there is our Quartermaster. Sorry, I said Quartermaster, it's the Quartermaster. The Quartermaster Stores are a chain of shops which are well known for their range of weapons and armor as for their eccentric crow-obsessed owners. Look closely and you'll see that even the shops themselves have been made to look like corvids in mid-flight. Each Quartermaster store is different, and there are many items that can only be purchased by a given branch. Since young wizards' journey are invariably punctuated by monstrous encounters, frequent visits to the Quartermaster stores to stock up on weapons and equipment are a must. While there, you may muse upon a question that has puzzled wizards for generations. Namely, are the mysterious Quartermasters actually crows? Interesting thought to ponder. We don't know if that's a mask or if they actually are crow people. And I guess no one's really been blunt enough to actually ask them. But let's go into rare weapons and armor. While the Quartermaster stores, or stock lists, are extensive, there is a great deal of equipment that cannot be bought at their stores. Some of this equipment is highly rare, and certain items are wholly unique. Such items include pistols that allow one to open locks from a distance, and harps that attack one's enemies when plucked. Should you be fortunate enough to come across such rare items, do not be afraid to use them on the field of battle. A wizard has nothing to fear from material objects. Which is true. I mean, you can always heal yourself as long as it doesn't explode in your face and take out all of your life. You should be in a pretty decent situation, thanks to healing spells. But let us move on to our next chapter, which actually is the next page over. Chapter 4, Provisions. Let me get a good look at that because I want to show off the page. It's important. Now, a well-provided wizard can, in times of direst need, be help unto his fellow man, his every wish exceed. Now, I'm going to start by giving you a basic look at our provisions. Just like in the equipment section, we have the introduction square up there. Basic provisions, sundry useful items, most of which have restorative or corrective effects. And we have a little description and picture of every provision and other items that would be in our provisions section. We'll look at white bread, which is a restorative. Freshly baked white bread, just the thing for hungry wizards. These can be obtained at boutiques and are dropped by sunshines, bartenders, and other such familiars. Or creatures in the wild, I should say. They can also be found in treasure chests. White bread is probably one of the most basic and easily found provisions. Now, I could continue to go through these pages. I mean, like, right here we have white bread, a basic provision. I could flip through, show you there's also ingredients and materials and all sorts of other things here. But we have one more page to go. Teaching for Aspiring Wizards number 8, the Boutique. Get a good look at that, and... Run by kind-hearted shopkeepers known as hootenannies. Boutiques stock all manner of useful provisions. Should you want for something restorative or materials for your cauldron, which we haven't gotten into yet, you would be wise to seek one out. Boutiques are found in several towns and villages, and traveling wizards would do well to visit them whenever the opportunity arises. Though every boutique has a slightly different stock list, they all carry adequate supply of the essentials. You are advised to purchase plenty of bread and coffee every time you visit. You would not want to run out in the heat of battle, after all. And now we'll move on to this bottom list of something not totally related to it, but still interesting. Types of treasure chests. Treasure chests are found in all sorts of locations, from bustling city squares to dark and dingy caverns. Ordinary treasure chests are red, but you will doubtless come across various other colors. Blue chests require a magic spell to open them, while green chests can only be opened with a special gun. Be aware that many treasure chests are rather well hidden, and that finding them may require some research. You may be certain, however, that great rewards await those who are willing to make the effort. A life lesson, if there ever was one. Alright, and we have one last thing in regards to shops to go over, and then I have to show you one very last thing. So I will see you in just a moment for the next shop. Okay, here we are, Teaching for Aspiring Wizards number 12, the Cat's Cradle. Let us zoom in a little bit so you can get a good look at the store and the woman there. Even the greatest of sages must rest from time to time, and those who find themselves far from home and weary from the wizardly exertion know to make for the nearest Cat's Cradle. The Cat's Cradle chain of inns has branches in every part of the world, and each one boasts different amenities. Some are simple hotels, while others are grand spa resorts. What all Cat's Cradles have in common, however, is the warm welcome you'll receive from their proprietors. Just be sure not to stare at their cat ear coiffers, proving that they're not actually cat ears. They're just, you know, women that like cats enough to make their ears look, or make their hair look like cat ears. But anyway, we have something down here very related to the Cat's Cradle. Strange dreams. Many guests have spoken of strange dreams they have experienced while sleeping at a Cat's Cradle establishment, though they never seem to remember what transpired therein. Curiously, guests only seem to have these dreams when they sleep in a room that contains a piece of art entitled A Sketch of the Dream World. Now, something interesting and important that you can only do with your wizard's companion inside the game. If we zoom in on this picture, you'll notice something quickly. We get to view the actual piece of art, if we zoom in enough. So this is the drawing that is in each room that people have had their strange dreams in. So we get a brief look at the dream world itself. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what these runes that are on these rocks mean, but they must mean something after all. Else why would they be here? Might be an interesting thing to look into and keep an eye out for. But now that we've ended that, it's time to cover one last subject. Chapter 6, 12... Oh, I'm sorry. We've already looked at Chapter 6, 12 Tales of Wonder, and this isn't where we need to go. I will be right back after a moment. That was silly of me. Here we are. The chapter we actually needed was Chapter 7, Regions of the World. Some think the world a mystery, through which the blindy blunder. Yet wizard since prehistory have sought to know its wonder. Now, we've already shown this, but what I want to show is the Summerlands North section of our particular book. It has introductions to each and every area, and we're going to be reading these in detail before we head off to Ding Dong Dell to learn more about it. Summerlands North. The northern part of the Summerlands enjoys a pleasant, mild climate all year round, and is covered in lush vegetation as a result. no trip to the northern Summerlands is complete without a visit to the cat-ruled city of Ding Dong Dell, where encounters with feline friends can add a dash of color to any wizard's journal. Now, first off, we have the rolling hills, the area around Ding Dong Dell, in between it and the other locations. The rolling hills spread southward from the edge of the deep, dark wood, and are home to a rich variety of wildlife and several natural wonders. Travelers are advised to remain vigilant in this area, not only for monster attacks, but also for the troves of hidden treasure that are found here. Also, if you take a quick look, you'll notice there's all these different lock patterns on here. Now, I could be wrong. Oh, and there's also this tree pattern here. I'll get into that in a moment. But I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, all these locks are actually places where you can draw treasure from in the world. And maybe there's a treasure chest here or two in one of those spots. The tree identifies a grove. These are areas that you can go into on the map that aren't necessarily marked aside from that tree symbol. There might be people in there, but that's a lesson for another day. Next, over here we have the Deep Dark Wood, the oldest and most beautiful forest in the Summerlands. All manner of wonders await those who venture inside, from fearsome guardians to talking trees. Alright. We only have 2 more things to go over. Ding Dong Dell. Against a picturesque backdrop of crystal clear rivers and historic woodlands stands Ding Dong Dell, the largest settlement in the northern Summerlands. The city is famous for its Cat King, and for the harmony with which Grimalkin and humans coexist within its walls. Now, each area that we've gone over here is an area we've been to. However, there's one area that we will be going to eventually. The Golden Grove. Golden Grove is a famously fertile forest teeming with life. The waters of a miraculous fountain are said to be the source of its great vitality. Now, we have to cover things in Ding Dong Dell, so I'm going to show this off. If I zoom in onto Ding Dong Dell, it'll take us right to its pages. We'll be reading all these pages as it contains information about Ding Dong Dell that I would like to share with everyone. So without further ado, let's start with the tranquil city of the Cat King. Ding Dong Dell is situated in the middle of the lush rolling hills that extend all the way into the deep dark wood. This part of the Summerlands enjoys constant warm weather, making the city a recommended destination for any visiting wizard. Ding Dong Dell is home to a sizable population of cat-like people known as Grimalkin. And the city is famous for the harmonious atmosphere in which humans and Grimalkin coexist. Indeed, a Cat King has sat on the Ding Dong Dell throne since time immemorial. The mild climate means that the pace of life in Ding Dong Dell is slower than some big cities. This makes it the perfect destination for the weary traveler who's looking to recover from a lengthy journey. Now we have some essential information from you and a picture of King Tom XI. The city's name is Ding Dong Dell. The climate is relatively warm all year round. The local delicacy is bumbler honey. Character is warm-hearted, but indecisive. The festivals that take place here are the Catnap Championship and the Tug-a-Tail Tourney. The local sport is, of course, Tug-a-Tail. Oddly enough, we don't have much information on what Tug-a-Tail is, if I'm not mistaken here. But, at the very least, we have some other information. For example, recent developments in Ding Dong Dell. There are unsavory elements in even the most peaceful societies, and Ding Dong Dell's troubles comes in the form of mice. The city's battle against the mice has raged for centuries, though in recent times the Grimalkin have been able to assert their superiority. There are rumors, however, that a new clan of mischievous mice are lurking somewhere in the city, waiting for the right moment to take revenge. Now there are some souvenirs you can find in Ding Dong Dell. Ding Dong Dell is known for producing some of the world's finest fabrics. You can get bumbler honey and a rustic garb here. And the last things we're going to cover are the local customs, nose-touching. The Grimalkin greet each other in a rather curious manner. When two Grimalkin meet, they push their faces close together until their noses touch. This is a sign of intimacy, and Grimalkin place a high value on physical contact between friends. Be aware, it is considered very bad form to flinch when touching noses, so try to remain composed, even if the whiskers tickle. And the last thing we're going to be covering is a popular meeting place, the Royal Square. A large open square, located close to the Royal Palace. It is notable for the large statue in its midst, depicting King Tom I, and for the very wide range of shops and other amenities that surround it. Very much the heart of the city. There's always something of interest taking place in the Royal Square. Now, unlike our first lesson, I don't really have any homework for you. This was just a lesson to familiarize yourself with the various places that we've encountered and give you more of a depth into the world. So with that, we end our lesson here, and I will see you all in the next lesson. Keep studying.